We got another great, video for y'all. NASTYCO YouTube channel. You know how we do. Almost every fucking week at this point, You know how we out. But today we got a special guest, someone that creates some beautiful music out here. And I think everybody, especially if you're an artist out here, should get to know. So, my boy, Iamgifted is in the studio.
How's it going, everybody?
Man, how you doing today, Gifted?
Oh, I'm doing all right, I guess. Not too bad. I'm blessed. Got all my limbs. I'm healthy.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yep.
Can you tell the people a little bit about who you are and what exactly you be out here doing?
So, as he said, I go by Iamgifted. I'm a producer, artist, content creator.
Right.
I love creating content. But I seem to dabble more in producer roles more than anything, though.
Yeah. So
I do a little bit of everything.
And I think the thing I know you most for right now is producing music.
Exactly.
Beats, especially where you're making the music, the beats and everything for someone to buy. But before all this success, before what we're about to get into as far as your career goes, take me back a little bit and where was it or what kind of environment did Iamgifted grow up in?
Well, I grew up in regular, Hispanic household, stay-at-home mom, hardworking dad. It was I grew up with a mother that loved music, absolutely loved it.
Nice.
She still does to this day. She loves, bumping her music while she cleans. She loves, she introduced me to a lot of different genres.
Okay.
Honestly, like rock en español, or baladas, ballads, norteñas. It's just that's kind of where I learned how, that there's so many different genres, I guess.
So how has that almost Hispanic culture, Mexican culture, whatever you would want to call that exactly,
Mm-hmm.
but how has that influenced your music making?
I feel like it's influenced me as far as well, here's the thing. So nowadays, I feel like it doesn't really influence me. I don't really pull many influences from that specific from a Hispanic background, but that's kind of how I did actually kind of start. I actually used to play for a Mexican banda here in town a long time ago, 10, 12 years ago, and we used to actually perform, at local venues here and stuff. And
oh damn, you did it up then.
Yeah, we used to perform at El Ranchito, or we used to perform at just different venues around here, and there was just a small upcoming band, whatever. But yeah, I learned a lot through them, honestly, and that's kind of what influenced me to make the music that I make today,
Yeah.
Doing that. And I learned how to play the trumpet, and stuff like that, so that's what I was playing. Now I play the piano, yeah.
Oh, so you're well equipped with some instruments for sure.
Yeah, you can say that, yeah.
Is that did you start those instruments from pretty young, or was it as soon as you got into that?
Yeah,
there?
Piano, I would say probably 9th grade.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and then trumpet, I would say probably I don't know, I was probably middle school when I started that. But yeah.
So then you started making music for other people where, you're sitting at home and making it almost more electronically, right? Because you're using softwares and
Correct.
engineering.
Yep.
How did that translate, where you're actually playing the instruments and then now you can have, a drum beat, like that. You can have the fucking guitar, at the tips of your fingers, Do you still be playing the piano on that? Has it used?
I still play the piano. That's the main instrument I play, honestly, is the keys. The trumpet I haven't touched for years, can't lie. But I'm sure if I picked it up, I could probably play something dope,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I like playing my, creating my instrumentals, from scratch. I use the piano to record 99% of that, so.
Oh, nice. So, you have the name Iamgifted.
Mm-hmm.
How did that name become to be?
Well, I'm me, and I'm gifted. I truly am gifted, everyone, the way I see that is everyone has a gift, no matter who you are. You have your own gift, I have my musical gift.
Right.
Other people have, smarts as a gift, other people have, just different things that makes them a unique, talented individual. And to me, that I don't know, I guess to me that's how I came up with my name, Iamgifted, because I was struggling to come up with the name. Everything that I came up with sounded just cheesy, you know, sounded just kind of like, I don't know, like, you know, I didn't want to be Lil something or, you know, stuff like that. That's just not me. So then I started thinking about it, and I was just like, yep, I am gifted, so that's just the name, Gifted.
So what made you want to translate, you know, so you were doing all this music stuff and everything. So how did you get into like being a producer? How did you get into like beat making?
So a long time ago when I was, I don't know how old I was honestly, but this was the last time I went to, 2 times before the last time I went to Mexico. We used to go, me as a small child, we used to go every single year to Mexico to visit family for like up to 3 weeks to a month at a time, right? So when we went down there, my cousins at the time, they were really into the EDM scene down there at that time. And so she's the one that introduced me to like festivals and all this stuff while I was down there.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I grew up kind of going to those, and I remember the very first time that I went to a electronic music festival, like just how it made me feel. And I remember, you know, looking at the DJs up there, you know, and playing all the music. And I remember thinking, like, man, like, I wonder what it takes. Like, if he can do it, I know I can do it. I remember thinking that, and I was like, you know, like, I wonder what it takes to, like, I just thought it was so awesome to have the gift to literally be able to, you know, I like to think of the music industry as an emotion industry, because that's truly what you are. Like, you're a manipulator of people's emotions. And when you know how to create or craft a piece of music that can move any one person a certain way, whether it be a sad song, a hyper song, you know, turn up song, whatever it may be, you have that gift, believe it or not. Like, as people who are musically talented have a gift to manipulate emotion. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, circling back to what I was originally saying, yeah, I grew up going to those festivals, and I remember thinking all that. And then I picked up a piano. I remember, I think my dad actually got it for me at like a rummage sale at the time.
Oh shit!
So one of them like little, you know, Casio keyboards. So he got me one of them, I believe. Yep. And then I had a computer, and I just said, you know what, like, I'm gonna start trying to make music. And fast forward, you know, there was a lot of trial and error, you know, but I was having a blast. And then one day I remember hearing Lil Wayne's Lollipop song from back then. You remember that?
Yeah.
And I remember just thinking to myself, like I'm gonna remake that beat. I'm gonna try to do it. And
oh wow.
So that started, and I did end up remaking that beat. Probably now thinking back, it probably sounded shitty, but at the time I thought, you know, I thought
you're
it was
like,
banging.
oh shit, I got it.
Fuck yeah. So then, I started doing that, you know, and then that's how I started learning how to play the piano by ear, because I started remaking all these things, you know. I used to play One Republic songs like by ear, try to like sit for hours trying to play it, you know. And at that point, would I do that now? Probably not.
Yeah.
But at that time in my life, I was having a blast. I just loved figuring shit out like that. And so then that's how I learned how to play the piano by ear. And yeah, man, I mean, am I missing anything? I guess
that's
like,
what's up.
You know, that kind of answers 3 questions.
Yeah.
Again, you know?
And to like comment back on those answers there, on the last thing you said here, you know, how you can play music by ear. So you're like, you know, you're listening to a song and, you know, you're hearing, you're like, oh, that's a da-da-da, you know, you're like, oh, that's a right there, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm the same way, you know, when it comes to like films. It's like when I'm watching like a movie, I'm like, oh, you know, they shot that at a 3-point, like, you know, and I'm just like, wow, like that shot right there. Like, I don't even care about the movie at a certain point sometimes, where I'm just like watching and I'm just like,
you're like,
wow,
how did they get that angle? I
you know, exactly,
yeah.
Yep. So that's just the artist, you know, vibe. And a little bit ago, you know, you were I forgot exactly what you just said, but basically you were saying how emotions. No, you're great, bro. How you said emotions. This whole music industry is almost an emotion, right? And to comment on that, it's like one of my favorite artists, Michael Jean Basquiat. Got him tatted on my face. Samo. That's the graffiti that he would write. You know, he'd write some kind of quote, and then he would put it Samo at the end to tag it up to like put your tag on it, him and another guy, and then they would say Samo is dead, but that's a whole nother thing. But basically, Michael Jean Basquiat once said that he doesn't paint thinking about, what am I painting? No, he's thinking about each brushstroke and the emotion that he's putting behind each, line of paint. Mm-hmm. He's not thinking, what's the outcome going to be? Like, no, let me simple it down and just feel for this painting, And that's kind of like that's what like came to my mind when you're describing music over here, It's like, that's where I translated to art. So it is a very emotional kind of, like career, right? It's a very emotional career. And we put ourselves through it. You don't just only make beats and produce music. You also produce your own music, or I think Iamgifted produced that song, right? That you just released?
No. So actually, I produced it, nice. I made it, stuff like that. But he's the one that mixed it. Yes, he was the audio engineer on that song.
That's where I was mistaken.
No, you did. But anyway, he was the one that mixed that record for me.
Yeah.
Shout out Iamgifted.
Yo, tell me, for real, shout out. Tell me a little bit about No Excuses. Tell me a little bit about that song that you just got done dropping.
So that song, I wrote it like a year ago, actually. And, for the people out there that don't know me and, whatever, they, just so you guys know, like I've always mainly been a producer, but I also love making music. And obviously I have the know-how how to do it, and I think it's awesome. So I just do it just for the fun of it,
Yeah.
But again, I love what I do and I know how to do it, so I might as well do it, and have fun with it. But if I guess when I made that song, to me, it meant more like I don't have an excuse to not be the best self that I can be.
Right.
Because of the fact that the way I look at it, different people are going to look at it differently, obviously, but my reasoning behind that, and sometimes I'm too hard on myself for that, is there's no excuse, because why did my parents, for all those who are immigrants, that watch this, if you guys are immigrants of any way, shape, or form, it's like, why would I be mediocre at best with my own life, and do just an amount to only what my, parents were when they came over here, crossed borders, did all this for me to end up exactly like them. Not that they ended up bad, not at all. They're they're great, whatever. Right. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is like, I'm just hard on myself because I just always think about that. I'm like, why am I not going to be great or live life to my fullest potential when I owe it not only to myself but to my parents, type deal. Yeah. And that's just kind of how I think about that.
No, for sure.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there, but when I was writing that song also, it was more so, thanking the people that that have been there for me, on my journey, or been there for me, showed support. That's why, no excuse. Yeah. That's essentially what it was for. Thanking people and just telling people that there's absolutely no excuse to not be your best self.
Because, the cover art to that song is you and your pops, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, that was back when that was back in Mexico, when we were still there. But yeah.
And I really like that. I think I tell, the people all the time is that when musicians, when artists, when you're doing any kind of like art form and you're involving your family into it, that's like heart right there. That speaks volume to me, where you're putting yourself out there a little more and showing people this is how real I am, that I don't need to like be like having stacks of money on my cover art. I'm gonna put me and my dad and show him how hard working he was at that time, right, Yeah. So that's real as fuck to me. I appreciate, when people do that stuff. And I appreciate you dropping the whole, if you're an immigrant, if you have, some kind of immigration issues in your family, like, bro, like, that shit does not get talked on that much. No, especially in this podcast world, this interview world. Like, that shit does not get talked about that much, because obviously you're trying to keep that shit on the low. Right. You know what I mean? But now I've been instilled into myself as well, where I heard the saying, "Oh, tienes papeles," like, to say, you have papers, to say, don't stop. Like, if someone's in your way, if a boss is in your way and, you're not feeling that job, like, bro, understand you have papers. You have the right to go and achieve whatever the fuck you want to achieve in this world, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're an American in America, and that's the American dream. You know what I mean? Yep. Especially like being a first generation here, because I'm a first generation citizen here.
Okay, so am I. Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out the steps. We're trying to figure out how can I be the best American for my family that think that that's everything, you know? Right. So I'm trying to, you know, I'm on the same boat, man. I feel the same way that you do. And I want to get into this one subject about, on No Excuses, you said, let me get the right quote here. On No Excuses, you said, in one of your monologue there, you said, I am not taken seriously. Uh-huh. When you said that, what were you thinking? What was going on in your head as far as who's not taking you seriously?
Yes. So when I wrote that, you know, and stuff like that, it was more or less like, you know, myself, my family, you know, obviously, again, going back to that whole, right, immigrant thing, whatever. Like, a lot of people don't understand, too, that, like, you know, and it doesn't just happen with us, it happens with everybody. Right. But there's always a saying of, like, you know, get a real job. Yeah. You know, don't do this, don't do that. Like, very, things that hold you back, you know what I mean, so to speak. So, when I say that is that, you know, people still don't believe. Or, you know, even, you know, local people, but that's also not their fault, you know, because I should probably do a better job of being more out there. But at the same time, I feel like, yeah, man, like that's why mainly just, you know, people that are out there that don't necessarily believe you. Yeah. I feel like it shouldn't have to take them believing in you, I guess, you know what I mean? Yeah. You need to have belief in yourself first and foremost.
That's like one of the things I keep hearing over and over from people I sit down with is you shouldn't be doing this for the people, because if you are, you're never going to get to the point where you're like satisfied. Right. You got to do this shit for yourself. You got to do this shit so in the morning you wake up and you're like, damn, I just did that shit the other day. Like, that's what's up, you know? So you got to start doing this stuff so it makes you happy personally, and it doesn't cater to the masses. I just feel like a lot of people out here, you know, especially being in Sioux City, are kind of judgmental because we're all so close. Where, you know, you might go to Walmart and you see a fucking rapper or two. So it's like people are very judgmental, and I like how you say, like, you know, I'm not taken seriously, but I'm still going to do my thing, you know? I like that. I like that a lot from artists out here, and I think that that's one of the ways that you have to go about this, you know, industry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, I try to, I don't know, man, you know, we can all just try our best, you know, try our best, have fun with it, try to push boundaries, invest in what you want, you know, what you truly believe. Yeah, man, we're all just out here really just trying to survive, trying to do our best, you know, so the least we can do is just support each other when we can, and when we can't, at least just, you know, just mind your business and don't bother nobody.
And it's like that. So a question I had for Iamgifted is, being a producer, you know, you're making a lot of music out here. What are some projects that you'll always remember for the longest time, or else, like, they're just some of your favorite hits, you know?
To be honest, a lot of the music that I've worked on, especially as of recently, it's not even released yet, and it's a ton of it. So, okay. It's just kind of one of them things, you know. Yeah. You know, you got to respect the artist. You know, sometimes they take a year to release, 2 years to release. You know, longer even.
2 years?
Oh yeah.
Why are people holding on to their music that long?
People like to hold on to their music.
Okay,
you know?
Okay.
Maybe sometimes, you know, I have the same issue. Sometimes I'm a little bit like impatient. Yeah. Kind of like, hey man, like, are you gonna release it yet? What's going on? You know. Yeah. But no, for the most part, you know, it just ain't the right time for them yet. Right. You know, stuff like that. So,
I can totally get that.
Yeah, sure. That's stuff that, you know, you slowly learn along the way. But yeah, no, a lot of the music that I've made recently, and it's a lot of it, hasn't been released yet. But if I were to say like my most favorite one that I've produced so far, would probably be, it's one called Slightly Brokenhearted by B Well. And he's actually an artist from Des Moines.
Des Moines it is?
Yeah, Des Moines.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, he released that one, and that one's probably my most favorite beat I've made for an artist.
What is it that makes it your most favorite?
Just all the I love doing beat switches. So like like say it starts off slow, then it just turns into a completely different beat or whatever the case may be. It's just one of those that I just loved everything I did about it. All the parts I played for it. It's just got the right vibe. It has a nice build up. It's just like I love creating records. That's what I don't like just creating beats. Just like. Just sitting in the bedroom, creating a beat. Don't get me wrong, I still do that all the time, but I much prefer working with the artist in person and creating an actual song together from scratch. That's what I enjoy the most. That's what matter of fact, that's what I pride myself on. Is I feel like that's where I shine the most. Is working with the artist.
Start from the beginning all the way to the end.
Yep, from the end, and I love doing that, man.
Mm-hmm. Is it just because the complete project, like you're completing out the project, or
it's like I just feel like, again, going back to what I said, this is an emotion market. You're molding emotions, you're changing lives essentially, even with records. So to me, you don't get no better energy than being in the room with the artist while creating, bouncing ideas off each other. Like that is the absolute best way you can create music. In total, don't get me wrong, I'm sure, there's been plenty of hits made where they just send the beat to the artist or vice versa, and, hits get made, don't get me wrong, but I feel like to get timeless records, it has to be in person to get the best out of the producer and get the best out of the artist.
Yeah, because then you get to know their personality as well.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and then you push each other, in the studio, you push each other's creative boundaries, so to speak.
Right.
And, there's stuff that I have produced that I never thought I could produce, at that time. And then I was put under pressure. I did it with the artist and it came out amazing, just like there's been times where I tell the artist, hey, you should try it this way. Try flowing a little bit differently here. Try doing this. What if I change something from this beat to make your vocals shine a bit bigger, but in order for me to, for you to do that, blah, 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 sometimes there's been times where I tell the artist how to do that and they love it. They create records that they otherwise wouldn't have created themselves. It's just, I feel like it's just the best way. I love working in person with artists.
Yeah, it's just that communication.
Exactly.
Right. No, I fuck with it. Especially doing the videos and stuff. That's what I be doing, is sitting down with the client first, way before the actual music video, gets done, just so we can bounce the ideas back and forth, get the emotions right, get the scene right, get the vibe right, you know what I mean? So one thing about this industry is not only being a good producer, making your fire-ass beats, producing songs for people like B-Well, shout out B-Well. You have a lot on your plate already as that goes. But in this industry, you have to get eyes on your songs. You have to get eyes on your beats and bring people in. What kind of marketing strategies are you using for your brand, almost, your social media brand here? Iamgifted, to be processing people and coming, having people come to the channel, come to the Facebook and check your beats out, check your music out. That way they're interacting with you and getting themselves products and stuff. What kind of marketing strategies do you be using for that?
Mainly, I'm a content creator. I love creating content. Mainly just trying to create the best content possible that I can. Investing in content creation. That to me has been key, honestly. As far as the whole marketing goes, I don't really do. I used to, but not no more. I don't do no more ads, no more stuff like that. I feel like the ROI on that honestly isn't really.
It's pretty whack.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it's just, I feel like you can do so much better, especially with reels nowadays, Instagram reels, creating reels. People don't understand how easy it truly is to create content.
Yeah.
You just gotta know how to, I guess for lack of better words, how to juice the most content you can out of a shot or a video. And it's actually easier than people think. I feel like there's a lot of lacking, I guess, with especially even local artists, on social media.
Yeah.
And I feel like if a lot of these artists just up their game even, like a little bit, I feel like it would totally change things for them, like at least at least right away. I feel like it would be, because I don't know, man. It's like, how do you expect people to know about you if you're not putting yourself out there?
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. Like, yeah, people play shows here, they do this, and they might be, pretty successful, which is cool. But just imagine how much, it's not going to hurt your career. It's not going to hurt you to even try to put content out there. And I understand content ain't for everybody. A lot of people just get lazy. They don't like creating content. And that's fine. Not everyone's going to like it,
Yeah.
But I feel like at the same time, though, it's like if you want to be somebody, especially in the entertainment industry, you have to take advantage of, and I don't want to sound like, one of these social media gurus, or like, them Instagram fitness influencers. Like, hell no. I'm just saying in general, if you want to be heard, then put yourself out there. Just because you do 2 shows a week or 1 show a week or 3, there's guys out here who do 1 show a month or less, and then they post maybe 2 posts on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like,
people
how do you expect people to? Yeah, there's so much talent, man. It's just I feel like social media presence is huge, and I feel like around here people just don't take social media seriously, really, like at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not against their point of view. I low key I get it, but I don't know, man. That's where you gotta kind of fight your demons and be like, okay, like, do I want to be heard? But I hate doing social media content, or I feel like the days where people say social media is whack or doing social media content is, not cool or whatever, like it's not their thing. I feel like it's over. We're surrounded by social media on a daily basis. Like, it's part of life. Accept it,
I be seeing people that ain't on shit, that aren't doing nothing out here, making hella more content than some of these artists. I'm gonna be real, you know what I mean?
Bro,
I see some motherfuckers doing day in the lives, doing, hey, this is how I make arroz and shit.
Yeah.
Like, bro, and people do not be on that shit either. No. That's what, like, and I be trying my fair share, sometimes it gets to be too much, where it's like, oh, now I'm making too much content because I don't want it to be over repetitive, and because sometimes, I be having TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, so I be like, I'm dropping this, I'm dropping that, I'm dropping that, and sometimes it gets to be a little too much sometimes,
and then
right?
Sometimes you got to edit it a little bit differently to post it on different platforms.
Right. So I be also knowing that. One question I had for you, or just to end that off real quick, is I think that there's amazing artists out here, and the reason why I said that whole joke real quick is because I feel like there are people that just do TikTok for fun, that make way more social media content than some of these artists should be on, for sure. I just think, get on your game, get on your shit, because media, just record yourself. Just record, literally put your fucking camera in front of you, rap your song, and be like, go check me out. That's all you gotta really do out here.
Honestly, that's a good start.
You know, like, start like that, you'll start seeing interactions. Someone that's got some good social media presence right now is like Brady Raps. He makes like comedic posts and stuff like that on his Facebook and his TikToks, so it gets him like some views, and then he'll like stitch a TikTok and be like, hey, Iowa rapper, or these people don't think Iowa rappers can rap, and then he'll be on a rap, he'll lay down a rap.
Him with that hook,
so
that intro hook to the video.
So he knows the game, he knows how he's playing that shit. So some rappers just need to be on this, and it is a younger man's avenue because social media is very young at the moment, especially this kind of form, like Reels. Like, Reels is brand new to the point where, like, Instagram, Twitter, all these other social media companies, as soon as TikTok dropped that, they went right to that. So now it's like, that's the form of media that gets the most views. Exactly. Like on Instagram, Reels are going to get more views than your posts on your stories or anything
Reels.
will,
Reels are king right now. Reels, and believe it or not, stories, bro.
Right.
Honestly, if you can get your audience to interact with you through the Instagram stories, that shit, that brings your engagement up. Yeah,
because like even my Snapchat, because I have so many people on Snapchat, my stories be getting like 100 views just because I got like 100 people. I don't be talking to everybody on Snapchat. I use it more for business than I do anything. But it's like, that's 100 views real quick. That I just post one thing like, yo, I'm editing. Iamgifted's interview. It'll be dropping tomorrow. I don't gotta make a huge ass post. I can just post that shit on my story real quick,
just
and then 100
man.
people right there. So, you know, it's pretty nice. But I had an interview with a guy named Villain, and he told me, he's like, you know, you be doing your interviews and stuff, but I also see where you be throwing your dimes of, this is your personality and this is how you rock with the world, stuff like that. Both of our avenues, both of our careers, I would say, can be done in the background where people don't even see our face. Because if right now I'm doing interviews, I could do this shit over Spotify, things like that.
Right.
Or else
like
just
Anchor or whatever.
Right. And not involve the you know, visual part of stuff. Or I can be making music videos on the back end, just completely focus on that and just run that up where people just know the name Nasty and not even like who I am as a person. But for some reason, I just kind of like this feeling of like getting, you know, with the fans, you know, the people who are viewing, they get to know me a little bit, and then just trying to run up the, getting a little more personal. So that's how I be running shit here sometimes. How about yourself? When you're doing reels and social media and stuff, it's not just I am gifted. It's more of like you're gifted. You're like gifted, and then you know, whoever you are like at work is a whole different person. So
exactly,
when you're making the social media and you're making it a little more personal, how does that go about like in your head, and why do you make it more personal than other producers?
I feel like I do that just because, actually, like you said, just to have my audience give a little bit more of a insider look, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, be a little bit. It's okay to be a little bit vulnerable. You know, like it honestly is. Because again, when think about yourself, you know, like when you're scrolling through TikTok or whatever, you know, a lot of the videos that you connect to or that you stop at are people that make you feel right away. They just grasp you. Their energy just, you know what I mean? Like you don't just stop just cause, like you stop because someone or something is making you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why I guess do all my content more like personal, because I want to let people that, you know, other producers, that it's okay to be vulnerable. You know, it's okay it's okay to help other people. You know, it's okay to, because honestly, the producer community is, don't get me wrong, it's close, but it's kind of tight or cutthroat a little bit. You know, in the grand scheme of things. I'm not talking locally at all. I'm talking more in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, man, the producer community, music industry as a whole, but the producer community for real be really cutthroat. And I feel like, you know, producers need a fresh perspective, you know, or someone to tell them, hey, it's okay, and remind them. That's like my brand. That's what I stand for, is like everyone is gifted. You're gifted. I want people to believe that they are gifted. You know what I mean? And I feel like I love, you know, my name because anyone can relate to that. You know, you believe you're gifted. I definitely believe I'm gifted. You know, everybody believes they're gifted. You know, like an artist who draws believes he's gifted. Maybe a mother of, you know, 3-4 children, stay-at-home mom, believes, you know, that she is gifted as a mother, that she's a great mother. Everyone in some way, shape, or form, we're all born with wanting to feel gifted, wanting to feel wanted, wanting to feel loved, right, so to speak. So I feel like with that name, man, and all that stuff, and as to going back to your question as to why I make my content personal, it's because of that. It's because of my brand. It's naturally comes with my brand, and for how I want people to feel, and the message that I want to give people is to always remember that you're gifted, no matter how much you think you're not. Always remember you are.
Right. Because as a viewer watching your reels and stuff, I almost have a feeling of like, damn, I'm rooting for this motherfucker right here, because I see you making this music. I see you talking to rappers. And I'm just like, oh, he dropped a song. I'm going in. I'm listening to that because he dropped the song, you know?
Right.
It's not like I don't even care if it sounds good. I just want to listen to it because he dropped it right now, you know?
Right, and it's more of a, yeah, man, I want people to like check me out and stuff like that, not because I'm like pushing or shoving things down their throat.
Right.
I just want people who eventually come across me automatically feel like they're worth something, like automatically feel like they are gifted, and automatically feel like they can trust me. Yeah. That's my main goal, because it's like I said, man, like we're all we're all out here just trying to survive, live day to day. At the same time, especially for upcoming producers like myself, you know, stuff like that, you know, we're all just trying to survive, and the least we can do is, you know, give other producers and give other people in general just a sense of feeling gifted, a sense of feeling worthy, and a sense of feeling like you can do this instead of, you know, dealing with everyday life and, you know, thinking like, oh man, like, how am I going to do this? Oh, how am I going to do that? Oh, maybe I'm not good enough. You know, like life is life, man. And it can get tough sometimes. So yeah, man, like I've been through a lot like that mentally and stuff. And so I feel like when people come across my page, I just want it to be a very personal, trustworthy, person with great energy that can maybe, you know, help you in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, because one of the things that I really rock with you about is when I do see your reels and stuff like that, I see the passion in it, you know? I see when you're playing the beat and you're just like, oh shit, you're just like,
he's like, oh,
that's the
shit.
one, you know?
Yeah,
like,
man.
I like that shit where you are putting all that passion into it and giving that emotion makes me feel like, how I said, I want to root for this guy. I want this guy to succeed in life. That's just how it is. The more I see you on the internet, the more I'm listening to your content, I'm just like, oh, okay, that's pretty fire. That's what's up.
I appreciate it, man.
So I wanted to talk to you about the trip that you took to California recently.
Okay.
The reason I know about it is because you documented it on your Facebook. I think it's Facebook, I believe.
Facebook, Instagram.
Instagram? Okay. So I saw a little bit about that, and you were making music out there in Cali. Tell me and the audience a little bit about how that trip went for you.
So I went down there with a friend of mine, Be Well. Again, the artist that I told you that, you know, recorded that Slightly Broken Hearted song. Yeah, we went down there. He said, hey, man, like, are you going to be free these dates? I would love for you to make it out here, and we can make some music together. You check out San Diego. I've never been, so, you know.
Oh, okay.
It was, you know, it was a dope opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
Very thankful for that. Very, very thankful. So, yeah, he told me if I wanted to head out there, make some music. I said, yeah, you know, I actually had to take some last-minute flights.
Wow.
It was all last minute. And matter of fact, I didn't even have the MacBook Pro then.
Wow.
I was just on my big laptop, but I wanted to make music, and I wanted to make the trip so bad that I was like, I just made a last minute purchase, and I was like, no, I gotta invest in this, you know. So that's when I got my laptop and stuff, and because I know you were asking me earlier off camera about it. But yeah, it was to go make music. We went out there. We created, you know, I did, I believe, like 6 or 7 beats for them. During that time.
Oh, wow.
It was a great time because, again, that's a great example of what I mean. Working with the artist brings the best out in both of you.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, he did some minor, you know, production on with me too. Yeah. And you know, and he had a lot of say, obviously, you know, and like hey, we should do it this way. Hey, let's do it that way. And then as we're writing the song, or I'm making the beat, you know, writing the beat, you know, he's thinking of how he would flow to it, how this would happen. So then he would tell me to change things, or he would tell me, hey, I think what you did right there was hella dope. Like, keep that.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, you know. And we just bounce ideas off each other. But anyway, yeah, I was out there for, I believe, 4 days. And we were just, you know, eating good food, you know, making music. Good time, man. Good time.
That's pretty cool how you explain that, because I like how Be Well knows what he wants. He's going in and he's not questioning himself. He's like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that sounds good. That, you know, I would do that to that. So, you know, respect to that, because that's pretty cool. You know, when I see that out here, it's lit as fuck. So even you taking that trip to California, did that prove a little bit to yourself that, damn, I'm out here doing this? Like, I'm really being a producer out here where I'm, you know, traveling and stuff.
Yeah, it was more of a, for me, it was more of a, I've traveled more because of music than anything else. You know, not counting, obviously, all the times that I went to Mexico, you know.
Right.
But that's totally different. That's to visit my family, you know. It was strictly for that. Never anything, you know, out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
So to speak. But circling back to what we were saying, though, that that to me proved more like, well, I am doing something right. Because I'm at least getting, I'm getting, like, I'm meeting a whole bunch of great people.
Yeah.
You know, building, you know, great relationships with, you know, artists, producers, you know, creatives in general. And it's also allowed me to be able to travel. I've traveled more because of music, because of me making beats, than any other reason in my life.
Right.
You know, I went down to Arizona because of music to CRAS, Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences, to go for that whole, you know, audio engineering class and stuff like that. So I went down there. That was with Anthony and Tanner. We went down there.
Nice.
Shout out Johnny and Anthony.
Yes.
But yeah, so I went down there with them. So I traveled there. I met Anthony and Johnny through music. I went to Vegas a long time ago for the first time with Anthony, actually, with AM Mixes. Again, through music. I remember when we were there, we were working on music and doing stuff like that too. And then I had Superstar O, which is Chris Brown's producer. He just had a placement with NLE Choppa, stuff like that. He flew me out to his house. At the time, he was living in Ohio. He had a dope-ass, you know, low-key crib out there. And he invited me out there. He flew me out there, and we created for like 2 days. I learned a lot of game from him, honestly. So, again, I traveled there. Then, you know, I was blessed enough to, you know, meet Be Well, and through music, you know, as well. And, you know, him telling me, hey, do you think you can make this trip? I would love to make music, and I would love for you to check out San Diego, you know, at the same time. And so that allowed me to travel to at least 4 or 5 different spots that I would have never gone to had I not even been making music.
Yeah. No, and that's like the benefits of working so damn hard on this shit, on working so damn hard on your craft, because that shit didn't happen overnight.
Right, exactly.
None of this shit is even guaranteed. So the fact that you're taking these opportunities and you're capitalizing, it's almost like when people are saying you have to be prepared for the opportunities that come forth when they come forth. And that's exactly what you were doing. You were ready to go. You know, he hit you up last minute. You're like, hey man, I can move some shit. I'm gonna make it happen. So you did that. You handled your business like a man, and you went out and you did your thing. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like a successful trip. It didn't sound like
definitely successful.
So
it was
perfect,
very,
you know.
You know, and not only was it successful as far as the whole music goes, and the whole business, not even business, but you know, the whole that's why I went thing.
Right, exactly.
It was more of it was also helpful in a mental way, you know, for me. You know, like we were talking off camera, you know, like working these long shifts, you know, and having a regular day job, and that has absolutely nothing to do with creativity or anything like that, you know what I mean? You know, it gets daunting after a while, you know, it gets old, it gets, you know, because trying to come home and be the most creative person you can after a long 12-hour shift, it's kind of tough, man.
Right.
You know? But you still got to shift your focus and try to do your best. But yeah, man.
That's the struggles of life, man.
Yeah.
That's the game we play for sure. Is like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. And I feel you, because people try to see all the stuff I'm doing out here and they think it's easy. They think, hey man, I'm gonna just get a camera and do that shit myself. Not saying you can't. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying the difference between that person and me is I'm hungry for this shit.
Right.
You know? I'm ready to go. You gotta be consistent,
hungry.
Yep. Yeah, and that's like the biggest thing about myself is that I would carry on my chest, is just the fact that like I want to do this. And I tell everybody all the time is I do this for the culture, and this is history right here. I am gifted right here, you know? When people are trying to look you up and they find, I wonder who that fool is. I wonder how he is. Boom, right here. They got you.
Yep, they got me right here.
You know? And I think that just marks history. That's the history books for this music industry in the future in Sioux City and in Iowa. You know, we're talking years to come, and things that you're gonna be grateful for, or not even grateful for, things that you're gonna be great for. I think your road is a long journey from here. I think you got a lot of things to accomplish that will come your way, and I'm grateful to sit down with legends like yourself, because one day you'll be on some shit and I'll be like, damn, I interviewed that fool.
I interviewed that motherfucker.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
dope, man. That's dope.
So that's why I say this is for the culture, for myself as well, to suffice my ego, to be out here with the legends and shit.
Honesty.
You know? But one thing that I did want to ask you for, because we talk a lot of game on here about how hard we do try, how hard we are putting the work in, and the behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. What are your last thoughts and some tips for the youngins that are out there trying to do producer stuff, out there trying to be a rapper, out there trying to be like an artist out here? What are some key advice that you'd give out?
Always believe in yourself. Sounds cliche, but I'm gonna say it my own way. Yeah. Always remember that you are gifted. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what you may think of yourself, always remember that you are truly gifted. And I say that because I believe it. You know, I live it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it should be like a, like a mantra, or what is that? Right. Like a way of life, man. Mm-hmm. You know. And anyway, for the youngins too, coming up, trying to do the whole producing thing and stuff, I would say don't overthink anything. If you start doubting yourself for any reason, just walk away, come back, fresh mind, just come back fresh,
Yeah.
And yeah, man, just always believe in yourself, believe that you're gifted. If you start getting frustrated, or if you doubt yourself, walk away for a minute, walk away for, a little bit, do something different, come back, and I guarantee you'll come back, truly believing in yourself and ready to go.
Right.
And also network. And the second most important thing to networking would be content.
Right.
Again, I don't want to sound like this, a social media guru, because I'm far from that. But it is very important that people get that across their heads, that if they want to be heard, seen, how do they expect to be heard or seen without posting? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And consistency will take you a long way. And that's actually going to be your guys', whoever's up and coming, hasn't really been through trials and tribulations quite yet. That's going to be the hardest thing that you're going to come across, is being consistent.
Yeah.
You got to be disciplined to do that. But believe in yourself and you'll go far, man.
Right.
For real.
Yeah, and the longer you do something, the more experience you'll grow from that. We got to learn. You got to take baby steps before you run, man, for sure. You got to crawl before you run. When you're doing this stuff for so long, the mistakes start to feel smaller and smaller, because you make a mistake and that shit feels huge sometimes. And then you're like, oh shit, next time I ain't gonna do that. And then that shit becomes smaller for you, So take it easy on yourselves out there. Don't take this shit too serious.
Life
sometimes.
Stuff enough.
Yeah. Exactly. So, clear your mind and everything will be possible, just like J. Cole says.
Yep.
And with that being said, where can the people find you? Tell the socials out here, man.
So for whoever wants to follow me, I post great content, by the way.
Hell yeah.
But
who makes your content? Because I be seeing some shots from back here and shit. I know damn well you ain't.
Yeah, Mobius.
Mobius?
Shout out Mobius.
Nice. Hey, shout out Christian.
Yeah,
hey,
shout out Christian. Fire. He's my shooter.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you guys can follow me at Produced by Gifted on Instagram. At Produced by Gifted on Instagram. So follow me there. I would say Facebook, but to be honest, I don't really use Facebook too much like that.
Okay.
Just follow me at Produced by Gifted on Instagram, and you'll catch me there, man.
Hey, and with that being said, Nasty Collective, I am gifted. Hey, bro, I appreciate y'all watching. I hope y'all continue to do that. But yeah, bro, I appreciate it, man.
All right, later, man.
Thank you. Doses, we out.